Hello, everybody, and welcome to All Queued Up, your review podcast tied to streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, etc., etc. I'm your host, Greg Dietz. With me always is Maya Don Fisher. How's your week been?
Pretty fucking good, for the most part.
Good.
You know, let's see. What did we do in the past week? Uh, enjoyed my weekend. I've built several Dungeons and Dragons frameworks miniature kits. Been working on those. Built a Drider, built a Beholder, built an Elf Ranger, which is going to be painted up in the likeness of Driss Durden. Let's see. Been watching a little bit of Doctor Who, getting caught up. So the special finale with Jodie Whittaker, which airs this Sunday, and they introduced the new Doctor. Happens then. So trying to get caught up for that. Watched football. Just taking it easy. Enjoying. Oh, I got hate speech this week.
Yeah.
Some fucking twat waffle named David Polanco. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I drop his name on the fucking podcast? Oh, I
Yeah, I
don't
was going to
fucking
say,
care.
he lives in San Antonio, Texas, so if you know.
So, what this douche canoe did, I made a post in a Facebook group talking about how it's the first time when we recorded our 5-year anniversary episode, I did my hair that day. And I posted a picture because, I really liked the way my hair looked. And I was like, I've been wearing wigs for the past 2 years because I'd cut my hair very short. And I was like, always had long hair. But unfortunately, my long, thick, luxurious hair has thinned severely over the years, unfortunately. Not to the point where it was, anything like gaping huge spots or anything like that, but to the point where I was self conscious about it, and I don't know how to style my hair, so I never took the risk on it. I was like, fuck it, wigs are cheap, I'll wear wigs. But I made a comment about it, and this fucking asshat just like, hey, don't cut your dick off. I'm like, this is a post about me getting my hair colored. This isn't a post about reassignment surgery. It has nothing to do with that. How about you shut the fuck up? And then he replied, how about you don't cut off your dick? And that's all I thought there was. But apparently there was another comment left that was flagged for hate speech. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, what was I going to say? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
So he responds, he says, and I'm going to read this quote word for word. This is, look, dude.
Just as a fair warning to everybody, this is it's got some nasty language in it.
Yeah. A little triggery. He says, look, dude, you'll never be a chick. You're just a gay dude with a missing leg who wishes he had a pussy. All the woke cunts support your insane faggotry. I'm just here asking you not to mutilate your junk. I assure you that no one here would fuck you thinking you were a chick because you look like a dude, and I'm sure you smell like a dude, and I know damn well you have male bone structure. To be honest, I need your help. Need you to help me pack out an elk. So I'm like, all right, what the fuck ever. I've actually been told worse from my own family, so it doesn't hurt my feelings, anything that he said. Is it vile and disgusting? Yeah. I know this dude has listened to the show before, and here's my heartfelt fuck you. I hope you die in a tire fire, you piece of shit.
Yeah. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll just say it here on the podcast as well, right at the top of the fucking show. If you have hate in your heart, leave this fucking world. Straight the fuck up. You are a miserable pile of shit. We, as cisgendered people, do not have the right to say anything. If you cannot accept somebody, this isn't about tolerance. Tolerance is a word that I fucking hate when talking about anybody in the alphabet mafia. This is entirely about acceptance. Acceptance is about going, that person over there has found their happiness. That person over there has found a way to live their life without feeling like they are not themselves. And you go, nah, I don't want them to be happy because I'm uncomfortable. Fuck off forever. Take a rocket into the sun. I don't care what you have to do. You're not a person to me when you do that shit. When you say that kind of thing, you are less than human to me. And to a lot of people for that matter. What makes it even weirder, and what makes it so fucking bizarre, is that you are more focused, David, on what is between Maya's fucking legs than what is in her goddamn skull. You are more focused on your comfortability instead of learning how to accept somebody because they're different, or learning that somebody is cool because they're different. And you go, well, I don't like it. You selfish, absolute fucking clown.
Yeah.
And anybody else like David or shares those views like David, get out. Go away. Don't listen to our podcast. We do not fucking want you here. People who don't harm others are who we want. And by that measure, saying hurtful things like that absolutely harms. There is a huge volume of suicides amongst young teens in the LGBT community because they do not feel accepted. It isn't that people are going to tolerate them. It's they don't feel wanted, either by their parents, their peers, society, and they off themselves because they have no other recourse. You know whose blood is on their hands? All of you hateful. And you know what? I have hate in my heart too. I have hate for you. I will always hate you. Like that, people always say like, "Oh, you have to love people regardless of the." Fuck that. You are an absolute vile monster in my mind, and I hate you. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. No, that just brings up a lot of things I've when I first started transitioning, I knew I would get comments. I knew people would say shit. I knew I would probably hear some vile shit. I didn't realize how horrible it is for transgender people, especially in the UK. And it's growing worse here in the United States with all the anti-trans legislature. 2 Fridays ago, 2 weeks ago, as of as we post this, on Apple Plus TV, Jon Stewart's show, The Problem with Jon Stewart. Notice there's a pause there. He did a wonderful entire show. It's about 43 minutes long, covering anti-trans legislature, gender affirming care. He actually interviewed the Attorney General of the state of Arkansas and pretty much told her to her face she's a horrible, reprehensible creature because of the bill she supports, and it's no way, in any way, protecting children. This past Sunday on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver on HBO Max, they also aired a show about transgender rights and gender affirming care and LGBT youth, transgender youth. Both pieces are wonderful, and they're about the only pieces of positive media you'll find on transgender, on the transgender community and youth and care and everything like that. A few years ago, I was in that 40%. I'm not going to say exactly when, but I was in that 40%. I was ready to go, but I
Yeah.
didn't because of my partner of 17 years now and my daughter. If it hadn't been for them two, I would have. But they are incredibly supportive of me, to which I'm very fortunate because a lot of transgender people don't get that support at home. I'm lucky
Mm-hmm.
to have it at home. I have it from a couple of my siblings. You know, I've not talked to my brother in over 2 years. I miss my brother, love my brother. We had a disagreement and we've not spoken since. You know, hopefully he's on board with me. You know, I don't know. I've not talked to him. And I miss him and I want to talk to him. But we're both stubborn and we don't know how to reach out. Um, my mother has never even talked to me about the subject, but word has gotten to me from friends that she seems to think I do this for attention. I don't do this for fucking attention because look at the attention that it brings.
Mm-hmm.
It's not positive attention. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I get support. You know, I feel comfortable in my skin more so in the past 2 years than I ever have in my entire fucking life. I hardly ever took pictures until a few years ago. Growing up, there's not a lot of pictures of me. You won't find a lot of pictures of me as a young person because I fucking hated myself. I hated my body. I hated who I was. I hated everything about myself. And now I fucking love who I am. You know, I've made changes to myself for the better. I'm not the same person that people knew. And I'm glad I'm not the same person that people knew. And here's the thing, if you don't know me, you want to get to know me, great. If you know me and you don't want to be around me, you don't want to know who I am, that's fine too. But don't base it on because of who I am, gender wise. That's fucking stupid. Um, but yeah, uh, just the week was great. This happened in the past 24 hours.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, even though
but
you
the
have a
but the week was
positive,
great.
even though you have a positive view on the situation and you're handling it as best as you can, I know this sucks. I know this hurts.
No, it didn't hurt me at all. That's the thing. It didn't upset me to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm sad about this. No, it pissed me off, and I'm like, fuck you. You don't
Well,
have the right. You don't have the right to say that shit to me. And here's the thing, people love to refer to it as cancel culture. No, it's accountability culture. And that's what I've been
consequence culture.
saying. That's what I've been saying for years now. It's accountability culture. You are free to say any fucking thing you want, but you will feel the repercussions of your fucking words and actions. And you deserve anything you fucking bring upon yourself in a negative aspect when you harm others.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to another point. You are you familiar with Graham Norton?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Graham Norton fucking deleted his Twitter account the other day because about a week ago he was on a fucking talk show with Radio Times, I think it was in the UK. He was on a talk show, he was doing an interview, and they asked him about cancel culture, and he was talking specifically about John Cleese. John Cleese has been complaining about cancel culture, and Graham Norton says, no, it's accountability culture. He's like, you say it's cancel
Oh,
culture, but yet
yeah.
you're still here. I'm still reading articles about you. I'm still seeing you on television. You're not canceled. You're just be aware of the things that you say and deal with the consequences from them. And then they said, well, what about, J.K. Rowling? And
Same
he's
thing. So it's accountability.
he's like, look, he said, people don't want to hear from me. I bring nothing to the conversation. My voice adds nothing to the conversation. He said, you want to know about trans issues? Talk to a trans person. Talk to the parents of trans kids. Talk to the experts. He said those things. J.K. Rowling's cunt ass. Fuck you, somebody who I used to admire years ago and loved your stories, but now I'm just like, yeah. Um, she says, "Oh, so you condone to Graham Norton? This condones rape and death threats by saying he supports accountability." How I don't know how she conflates that, but her fucking Death Eaters, which is what I refer to her Twitter fucking followers, all 14 million of them, bullied a wonderful, delightful, hilarious, and talented and genuinely caring man off of fucking Twitter. It's just, here's the thing. You can say whatever the fuck you want to me. I'm not going anywhere. I'll never shut the fuck up because I've got thick skin because I had an abusive family and there's nothing you can say to me that I haven't heard worse from them. So my happy ass is going to continue to be fabulous, continue to be the best version of myself that I can be. And I hope it makes you fucking sick. And I hope that it makes people like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz and all those other fucking GOP motherfuckers that introduced this anti-trans legislature. I hope it makes them so sick that they can't fucking fathom it. I just want these people to go the fuck away. But you're not phasing me. Not phasing me at all. Because I'm fucking happy.
So,
and it's none of your fucking business if I'm going to get fucking junk mutilated.
that's, I think, the thing that probably bothers me most about the misconceptions of transgender people is there's this weird assumption that all of them are going to get bottom surgery or voice surgery. No. What each individual trans person does and what they choose to do and what they desire to do is A, none of your fucking business, and B, not the fucking same.
Yeah, it's different for every one of us. Like, I don't give a fuck what societal expectations are. I'm living the way I want to live. If I could afford feminization surgery for my voice, shit, yeah, I'd be getting it. I'd be getting it in a heartbeat. I hate my fucking voice. Here's the thing: vocal coaches are fucking expensive. But yeah, I work on it and I try, but 2 years in on hormones and it's lightened a little bit, softened a little bit, but not much. If it weren't for my voice, you'd see me in public. You wouldn't fucking know. You wouldn't fucking know at all.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, there is a funny dichotomy that comes sometimes from you entering a new group that I'm a part of. Because I'll say, hey, my friend Maya's joining, or oh my god, a year ago when we did that fantasy league and you were in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the fucking absolute dead silence of Maya's joining, but nobody was warned that you're a transgender woman. And holy shit, dude! Like they were all, at least I think they were all accepting, but none of them said anything until
it was
later.
Funny.
Yeah, because they all asked our friend like who hosted. They asked him like, "Is that a transgender woman?" They were like, "Yeah, she's a transgender woman," and like they were like, "Oh, okay."
Who beat most of their asses in the fucking league last year?
Yeah,
beat the pants off of them until the playoffs, and then I choked against Mueller.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm in another fantasy league, and I have been for years. It's a regional fantasy football league here. Guys from the county where I grew up, and where I currently live, and several of us still live here. Several of them are teachers and things like that. But it's called the Manly Cup, the DCFL, the Dickinson County Football League Manly Cup. And the past 2 years, I have come in second place and third place in that. And they keep saying, you win this thing, we're going to have to change the name. I was like, yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
I think that one of the things that gives me hope, though, and I will point this out to our audience, is that I have probably like 3 or 4 really close friends, people that I can confide in. Maya being one of them, our friend Andy being the other one. He he had a hard time adjusting his language and using the right pronouns because he knew you before.
Yeah.
So,
but he's gotten really good at it, and he got there quick.
Yeah, he did. But the thing that made me laugh the most was his kids picked up on it faster than he did.
I remember that. And they had never spoken to me or anything.
Nope. Well, and that was the thing, is that they had heard your voice, put 2 and 2 together, and when Andy misgendered you, they immediately were like, Dad, she. Like, don't make that mistake.
And
like, all right.
And you know what? That speaks volumes for how good of a parent he is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's like, that's why I love him. He's an awesome dude, But that's the thing. It's just people struggle, people make mistakes, and I'm not one to behold a grudge against anybody that's legitimately trying. But I will hold a grudge for somebody that did what this motherfucker did.
Absolutely. You use that kind of language, or you are intentionally harmful to somebody because you don't share the same views in the world as them. Oh, that's not the right word. That's not the right wordage, because there's a lot of people that share the same views as me, and I hate them vehemently, like this guy. Like, if you're a Nazi, you can go fuck yourself. But like, if you sit there and look at me and you're like, I think the government should be ran like a business, I don't agree with that, but that's fine. I'm not going to disrespect you because of that opinion. But if you're like, you know what, something in me thinks that like all Jews should die, then I want you off of this planet. See what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference there. Anyway, that was a terrible fucking analogy.
I get what you were going for, though.
Sometimes I start talking and then I don't realize how bad it is until I'm halfway through.
You know what's funny is the rest of us realize it before you get there.
All right, podcast over. We're done. But yeah, so yeah, we've been 20 minutes talking about this, so we should probably get to the reviews. But yeah, if you think like if you think like David, fuck off forever. Simple as that.
And I'm putting this out there. We're progressives. We're liberals. More progressive than liberal, but there's a lot of hurtful legislation out there that is dangerous and making it difficult for people like me, for kids who are like me, for kids who vote against that shit. You got to vote blue this November. I mean, it's just a few weeks away. We can't let this shit win because, I mean, I'm legit scared about if these things pass, what's going to happen, because I already live in a not safe area as it is. Like, no, it's not dangerous, but I have worries. I worry, what if some fucking raven nutbag sees me, makes the connection, and hears me, and they're like, oh, this motherfucker's gonna die, and they follow me to the bathroom and cap me. I worry about that shit. Do I let it stop me? No. But
it's like Anthony Jeselnik said. His joke was different, but I tell you, it's the same sentiment. If you are living your life and you're doing what you do, either it's for a living, your personal well-being, your personal mental health, whatever it may be, and someone kills you for it, you go out a fucking legend. You go out as somebody who others will look at as they're happy. They're happy when they went out.
Yeah.
That person that did the killing, not happy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Now, do I want to go out that way? No,
no.
but I'm legendary as fuck anyway.
Do you know what I'm referencing when I mentioned the Anthony Jeselnik thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you would. It's not
Yeah.
the same thing by any stretch of the imagination, but
No.
the analogy works.
But yeah, let's get on to the reviews.
I haven't talked about my week yet.
Oh yeah, let's get on to your week. How was your week? I'm sorry.
No, I was making a joke because my week was uneventful as fuck. Like, I worked, and then I did shit for my parents, and that's it. That's been my life. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, there was something you mentioned before we started recording that you did want to bring up.
Yeah, I just it's I don't want to say it's small because it's not small, but it is an issue that I've been seeing all over the internet, and I wanted to touch on it. So, there's a very popular streamer by the name of Amaranth.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's horrible. Go ahead.
So she's a popular streamer because of what the content that she was providing. She was actually part of a lot of controversy on Twitch for a long time because what she would do is she would get like borderline nude, like it was very like it was bikinis and things like that were very skimpy, and then she'd be in a hot tub or a pool, like an inflatable pool or something like that, and she was on 14 hours a day, arguably 16 hours a day doing this. And there are dudes that are just donating money and going, and then she had an OnlyFans, which had also a lot of like a more adult content. And she was just dumping out content. And I'd seen her on other people's like streams and stuff, and she seemed like have a really good sense of humor about stuff and kind of just go with the flow. And I was like, I respect that. Get the bag. Like if dudes are willing to pay for that, go for it. Who am I to stop you? Who am I to judge you? Like, you're making more money than I am. Fuck it. However, something came to light Sunday evening. She was streaming. She wasn't doing anything suggestive. She wasn't doing anything lewd. She was just sitting at her computer. She gets a call from somebody that even the audience had unexpected because nobody knew this, that she's married, and she has been for a long time. And her husband is an abusive piece of shit that was basically forcing her to do these streams and OnlyFans. It wasn't that she didn't want to, it's that she doesn't want to do it as often, as much. Like, she wants to have a life, and she had a mental break. And when her husband called her on that stream, she just put it on speaker so everyone could hear. When that was brought to light, a lot of things changed for her. It looks like they're going to get a divorce. Things are going to split amicably, and Amaranth will be better for it. But here's the thing. When I say she's a popular streamer, I don't mean that lightly. Yesterday,
she's like one of the top 5, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The reason I bring this up is that people constantly say, who are ignorant or don't understand, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how famous you are. Having a relationship that is abusive can happen to anyone, and it can be invisible to everyone. And you will feel like you're alone, and that nothing you do or say is going to matter, and that you feel like if you speak out, people aren't going to believe you. Amaranth is lucky in that she had the audience that she has, that she was able to capture that. And I want people to understand, if you're listening to this and you're in that kind of relationship, there are ways out. There are ways to contact people who can help. I should have had a phone number ready that you could call, but I don't. And what I think is so important about this Amaranth thing is it doesn't just open the window to people who are struggling, who are suffering because of their abusive relationship, but it's also like, to me, it's a way to kind of showcase that it can happen to anybody. It can happen to just about fucking anybody. And yeah, I don't know. Like it's I think the thing that's most disheartening about the whole situation too is complete fucking absolute clowns will sit there and say some shit like, well, if she was in this abusive relationship, why didn't she say anything sooner? Because manipulation and fear tactics don't account for that. It's
the answer is never just as simple as just leave. You know, there are so many factors that come into play, and fear of retaliation is a big fucking thing.
Yeah. Have you ever heard those 911 phone calls that are like the person calls 911 and says, I'd like to order a pizza, and the person's like, this is not the right number to do that, and the person goes, yeah, just like a large pizza with pepperoni, and the 911 operator's like, ma'am, you're calling the wrong number. No, I just the one pizza. And the operator will be like, is this an abuse like call? Like, is he there with you? And the yep, that'll be good. And like they have to do that.
Mm-hmm. Here's the address to bring it to. How long? Okay. Can't wait.
Yep.
That
shit's terrifying. Like, I couldn't imagine having to go through that. Because I'm not in a relationship as it is, but it's something that I don't think I'll ever have to experience. And so hearing that other people do is just, it's so disheartening. It's so depressing. And to hear other people, men especially, say some just fucking horrid shit in regards to it, like, you have evidence. I don't care if she's a multimillionaire. She still deserves to be treated like a person.
Mm-hmm.
So just, I saw a lot this week that like over like just the past few days over that, and I'm just like, if you're sitting there saying that she doesn't deserve to be treated like a person because she's a millionaire or she's done porn, like much like David, you can fuck right off. Call me a bleeding heart, call me whatever the fuck you want, you know, big pussy, I don't fucking care. I'd rather people be happy in their own like life than to stay miserable because it makes you comfortable. So I don't know, whatever. That's who I am. So I just want you to know that there are ways out, and I don't have a
safe
number.
ways out.
I don't have a number ready. I kind of popped this in here at the last minute and just didn't have it ready, but I do want to, say that publicly that us here at All Queued Up would rather people be happy and safe. So, but why don't we go ahead and get to the point of this podcast?
Wow, that was a hell of a pee.
I'm just filling up my water bottle because I talk and my throat gets scratchy.
He drinks his own pee.
Actually, there's a channel on YouTube. I've been trying to get you to watch this fucking channel for so long, but you never do.
What channel is it?
It's called Channel 5.
I don't get that channel. I'm not paying extra for locals. Jesus.
You know what? The joke is staring me in the face, but I'm like, if I say it, it might be misconstrued, so I'm not going to say it.
No, go ahead.
No, it's bad.
Oh, God.
No, it's a really good YouTube channel. The guy Andrew Callahan does a lot in regards to talking to people and getting this certain point of view out of people. And his most recent episode is on a guy who his name is Will something. I don't know if I remember his name, but he's one of these new age like not medical people, but he has like very strange ways to talk about his health. And in his way, it's all about the penis and the balls. And like one of the things he talks about is like the whole video is like 20 minutes long, but it's not only fascinating, but it's just like you're like, this dude is a lunatic. But he I'll put it this way. What he says sounds kind of crazy, but he keeps to himself. And he just tries to he's like, hey, if this sounds interesting, come talk to me. So, leave him alone. Don't harass or whatever, because he's not hurting anybody. But everything that has to do with your health and your personal health has to do with your penis and balls. And to him, that's the gateway to becoming a better person in general. And it's not just like, genital health. It's literally doing some of the bizarrest things when it comes to your genitals and with other men. So you've heard of like the tanning of the perineum and ball sack and all that kind of stuff, right?
No, I missed that.
Oh, this is hilarious. So there's this whole trend now where like you would basically sit with your genitals spread eagle towards the sun and you tan them.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't Tucker Carlson talking about that shit a few months ago?
Yep.
That's right. See, I kind of pushed that on my head because I try to block anything from that scumbag's mouth that I fucking possibly can.
Well, I heard it before Tucker Carlson. I was actually surprised Tucker talked about it, but yeah, the funny thing about tanning your genitals is that they're not meant to be in the sun like that. Like there's a reason that they're hidden in that fashion. And so doing that can actually cause problems, but fuck science, I guess. No, the guy that he talks to, it's a really interesting video because he talks about how they handle certain things. Like there's a certain level of chi that you can transfer from your body to your friend's body by like cupping his balls. And it's bizarre. But in the middle of the video, he goes to the bathroom.
Usually takes a few minutes though to transfer it. And it can get sticky.
Well, hold on. I'm not done. So he pees into a jar, right? Like a glass jar. And he was like, he comes out of the bathroom and flushes away. He's like, oh, it's just habit. I'm like, uh-huh. And then he drinks it on camera.
Oof.
And I was like, whoa. But it gets worse because later he talks about like Andrew Callahan, the guy interviewing, the guy that runs Channel 5, and this is just one of the many videos. Like he did a whole one on it. Like, have you heard of fish lots?
No.
I think they're called fish lots. At fish concerts, the parking lot is the real party.
Huh.
That most of the people that are in the parking lot at a fish concert aren't seeing fish.
Oh, those, yeah.
Yeah, so he goes to that, and that was fascinating. But later in the video, the guy talks about how, because Andrew asks about ejaculation and how that can affect, like, do they have anything on that? And the guy explains that they do. He tries to teach the other guys how to have an orgasm without ejaculating because you don't want that out of your body. You want to keep it in because it's testosterone. And he goes, but, you have to get it out sometimes. And what we do is, and he goes, here, I'll show you. And he pulls two pieces of paper off of like the mantle in his apartment. And he takes them over to Andrew and he says, so on these pieces of paper, my buddy and I, he names his buddy, he says, we wrote down all the things we want to make ourselves like do in our life that'll make us a better person, or things we want to let go of. And then we ejaculated on the paper. And I think later sometime we're going to burn it. And he shows the pieces of paper that are like wetted in it's disgusting.
Jizz drip patterns.
Oh my God, dude. I was like, you gotta watch Channel 5. Like every video he posts is fucking fascinating. A while back, he had a long video, it was like 45 minutes, but it was about the convoy of truckers going across America that like are all Trumpers.
Yeah, I remember that a few months ago.
Yeah, that was fascinating on a lot of different levels other than their opinions, because we all know their opinions. So he had another video, like he's just had so many, and it's just Like his fucking shit is just, you have to watch it. You have to check it out. Anyway, Jesus Christ, we are 40 minutes into this fucking podcast and have not talked about House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, or Andor.
Yeah.
My God. Well, folks, welcome to the second half of the podcast where we're going to talk about the finale to Rings of Power, episode 9, the penultimate episode to House of the Dragon, and Andor episode 7. Why don't we hop into Rings of Power, Maya?
Sure. Episode 8 of the Rings of Power is titled Alloyed. Here is a rundown. It says Galadriel and an injured Halbrand arrive in Eregion. Halbrand gives Celebrimbor the idea of forging the mithril with other metals to enhance its strength. Galadriel becomes suspicious and checks into the royal lineages of the Southlands. In the east, the stranger meets the mysterious trio who greet him as Lord Sauron, whom they are pledged to serve. Nori and the Harfoots manage to steal the leader's magical staff at the cost of Sadoc's life. The stranger then uses the staff to banish the trio into darkness. They realize the stranger is not Sauron, but one of the Istari. In Eregion, Galadriel confronts Halbrand with her discovery that he is not a Southland king, and the latter reveals himself to be Sauron. She refuses his offer to become his queen and rule Middle-earth. Sauron overpowers Galadriel and flees to Mordor. Galadriel, Elrond, and Celebrimbor forged the 3 elven rings. Elendil and Muriel arrive back in Numenor to find King Tar-Palantir has died. And then back amongst the Harfoots, the stranger and Nori decide to depart the group and travel east to Rhûn. Unsure which way to go, the stranger advises that, when in doubt, to always follow your nose. Which is very Gandalf-y.
Yeah, I was talking to our friend last night who's like really into Lord of the Rings. And he was like, oh, well, now we know it's Gandalf because of that quote. And I was like, well, hold on. It could still be Tom Bombadil or Bombadil or Radagast.
I don't think it's Tom Bombadil because, according to lore, and of course this doesn't have anything to do with lore, but he was always there. I still think it's one of the just unnamed blue wizards.
It could be. Because my point that I made to him was that the thing about the wizards is this takes place thousands of years before Fellowship. And
roughly 3,000 years, yep.
And Gandalf and Radagast and
Saruman
and the Blue Wizards, they knew each other quite a bit over time. And I don't remember if it's actually Gandalf that says, follow your nose or whatever, but he is directly to having said that, like somebody told him.
And in the first Lord of the Rings movie, Fellowship of the Ring, when they're going through the mines of Moria, and Gandalf's like, I don't remember this place, or I have no memory of this place. And he's trying to think of which way to go, and he finally says, oh, it's this way. And they're like, how are you so sure? He's like, the air smells better this way. That's the closest direct hint that we've gotten that it could be Gandalf. And if it is, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, I'm just letting people know, like, don't be surprised if it's not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But everything in this this show has been fucking phenomenal to me. It's just fun. Like, there's so much about it that I find to be highly enjoyable. I think the characterization of some of the characters is something that I really fucking dig. Like, I got upset when Sardak died. Spoiler alert.
Sadok, yeah.
Sadok. Yeah, I was like, I have the word in. I see the spelling of the word in my head because I watch these things with subtitles. But I think the other thing the show does really well is it surprises me. A lot of the stuff I don't see coming. I don't see how it's going to play out. Like the thing with Halbrand. Had no idea. Not a fucking clue.
I had a suspicion. Misty and I both had a suspicion for a while about that, but we were content to just let it play out and see how it went.
I knew he was special, but because he's a major character in the show, but I was like, I didn't think that. That I was like, oh boy, I should have. I mean, the writing was on the wall. It's the same shit that I was talking about with like other shows that quote unquote surprised us. Like, there's a lot of them we should have seen coming. A lot of it is right there, right in front of our face. But
But even when it is right there, the clues are all there. It's a testament to how good the storytelling is when you don't piece it together, even though the signs are all there. Because you're so engrossed and wrapped up in the story and where it's going.
Yep. I completely agree. I'm excited where season 2 is going to go. I mean, I thought it was really fun. I think the only thing that I will say about it is that it worries me that season 2 is not going to happen.
Season 2's already been greenlit.
Has it? I didn't see that. Never mind.
Yeah, a long time ago, actually, before season 1 debuted, I believe.
I was worried. I was worried because it's so expensive. Not because
it's expensive, but
yeah, I just wasn't sure because.
Let me see if I can find it. But carry on.
Yeah, I'll just But yeah, like the whole season was damn near $1 billion or something like that, and I was just really worried that it was that they weren't going to renew it or they were going to make it cost less. But I mean, the show's gorgeous. That last scene with them, like I was so fucking engrossed with. Okay. How are they going to figure out how to use Mithril and that tiny bit?
Okay, second season filming has already began as of October 3rd of this year.
I missed that entirely.
2 weeks, 16 days ago, as of the time we're recording this, season 2 already began filming.
Cool.
I knew they had announced the second season already because it's essentially Amazon has paid for the rights to make a 5-season production commitment worth at least $1 billion for the entire series, not for the season, but for the series.
Oh, that makes more sense. For the entire series, makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So this season was 8 episodes, right?
8 episodes, yes.
So let's assume 5 times 8 equals 40, right? So let's do 1 billion divided by 40. Each episode only costs $25 million. That makes way more fucking sense for a TV show.
Yeah.
Of this caliber. God damn. Okay, that adds up.
Yep.
I'll say this about this finale. The thing that probably upset me the most.
No Durin.
He's by far my favorite. I fucking love him. Don't get me wrong. I love the other characters. I love the Brandyfoots. I love, I can't say that I love Galadriel, Galadriel. She's fascinating, but she's definitely not up there with me. I'm not like, ooh. There's so much about this show that's just fun. Like, I think the thing about this show that I really, really enjoy, and maybe it's because I've been playing a lot of D&D lately, but it feels more adventure-y like a D&D campaign than let's say fucking what's it called? What the other thing we're watching? The House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon, yeah.
Yeah, so but maybe that was their intention. I don't fucking know. But I'm digging the fuck out of it. Like, I can't, like, I think my dad asked me because we watched it together. He's like, so when's season 2? It's like, not for a year. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
you can tell him, season 2 started filming 2 weeks ago, and hopefully it'll be ready to go this time next year.
yeah. Well, I think that's also the thing about this show that probably is reason that it costs more is it has a lot of characters.
A lot of characters, a lot of costumes. You got, fortunately, you've got location shoots. You do have set design. There's a lot that goes into it. So, but
And yeah, I was gonna say
it's worth it.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't a complaint that there's a lot of characters. It's just it explains why there's so much in that vein. Is that there's a lot going on, but it has to be a lot going on. You're talking about an entire Middle Earth. Like, yes, the fucking the Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring. You had a lot of characters too, but the focus were were either Bilbo or Frodo. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, J.r.r. Tolkien always saw the hobbits as like the best of what humanity is today, who you should aspire to be. Because actual humans are pieces of shit. I could be wrong about that.
Certain ones are.
No, all of humanity, just garbage. But I think that's also the sentiment that was taken with like. Isidril, is that his name?
Isildur.
Thank you. I was like, I don't know, I'm close. But yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yada yada yada. I can't wait to see that fucking storyline play out.
Yeah.
There's so much about this show that I want to see keep going. Because like I think the thing I don't like about prequels is it's always like this self-fulfilling bullshit, we don't have to have every character be attached to something that we know and love, right? We just kind of want to see how things played out in the past. And it drives me nuts that prequels can only exist in this bubble. And it feels like that Rings of Power kind of did that just right. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
like they have those characters, they have that situation going on, but it doesn't feel as big as like, let's say, fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, I get you.
So, well, let's go ahead and give a grade to the finale and then to the series as a whole. You go first.
A+. Fucking stellar, fucking wonderful, loved it. A little predictable in a couple but not entirely predictable. It's just like it played into my hunch that Halbrand was Sauron. I wouldn't call that predictable, but
I didn't see it coming.
The scenes with the trio and the stranger and the Harfoots was awesome. Loved watching that. Just loved everything about this episode. It was really well done. The series as a whole was incredibly well done. It kept getting stronger and stronger with each episode as it kept going. Here's the thing. This series didn't qualify for best thing we watched in the past year because we were still in the middle of watching it. Had this series been done 2 weeks ago when we did that list, this probably would have been potential for number 1. It's fucking great.
We're going to do it again for the year.
Okay.
We do about 2 every year, one for our anniversary and one for the end of the year. Which it seems odd because, we have some of the same shit in it, but
and there's only 3 months apart, but still.
Yeah, because I don't want to like leave out certain things, and I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun content.
But yeah, fucking loved it. Loved it.
Mirror your sentiments exactly. A+. The whole show is fucking great. it kept me enthralled the entire time. I like look forward to next week, and talking about it the week before it was just tons of fucking fun. And I'm so happy to hear that it was greenlit for season 2. Didn't know that prior to recording. How I missed that, I don't know. But I do want to say one thing about the show, but it's in a joke that a friend of ours had posted in a group thread that we're in together. And it was calling my butthole the Ring of Power because my parents are really mad there's black guys in it.
Yeah, I saw that last night and I about died laughing.
It's so good. So fucking funny. But yeah, so Rings of Power gets a mad approval from us. Just a big old approval from us. Well, let's move over to House of the Dragon episode 9.
Yeah. This is called The Green Council. And as it basically opens up confirming what we assumed at the end of episode 8, King Viserys has died. The small council plots to crown Prince Aegon as king. Sir Criston just straight up kills Lord Beesbury when he objects to Rhaenyra being usurped, while Lord Commander Harold Westerling resigns from the King's Guard, saying he'll have no part of it. Sir Otto delays announcing Viserys' death to fortify the council's position and coerces House Lord's fealty. Queen Alicent fails to gain Princess Rhaenys' support and keeps her captive. Otto has the Kingsguard brothers Sir Eric Cargill and Sir Eric with an A Cargill, one's Eric with an E, one's Eric with an A, search the city for Aegon, while Alicent sends Criston and Prince Aemond. Mysaria, who is apparently the White Worm, tells Sir Otto where Aegon is hiding. The Cargills find Aegon inside the Grand Sept, but lose him to Criston and Aemond after a fight. Lord Larys Strong creepily warns Alicent of Mysaria's spies within the Red Keep, including her lady-in-waiting, and then he jerks it to her feet in a very creepy scene.
Isn't his name Lord Larys?
Yeah, that's what I said, Larys.
Oh, I thought you said. Sorry, I thought you said Viserys. I was like, that doesn't seem right at all.
No, Larys Strong.
Yeah, I got you.
She has Larys burn Mysaria's house. Aegon has no desire to rule, but Alicent convinces him otherwise. Meanwhile, King's Landing citizens are herded into the Dragon Pit, where Otto announces Viserys' death and crowns Aegon the new king. After Eric frees Rhaenys, she enters the Dragon Pit dungeons. Astride her dragon, Melis, I'm not sure, Meleys. She breaches the hall, causing devastation and confronting the royal usurpers, and she spares them and leaves on Dragonback. Now, I'm sorry, but there's no way anybody just writing a fucking just summary of this scene could do that scene justice. That was fucking awesome.
No, it's really Game of Thrones has positioned me in a spot that I laugh at every fucking time, because I like I said, I've been watching this with my dad, and he's never watched an episode of Game of Thrones. So when certain scenes come up like this, he's just like, interesting. Nothing in him goes, something bad's about to happen. Meanwhile, I'm over going, like the entire time I'm biting my nails. I have this like weird anxiety in my chest because I know something's about to happen.
Honestly, before Rhaenys snuck off to the dungeons and burst through the floor, the beast beneath the boards, remember that? Helena prophetizing that? Okay. Anyway, before that happened, I was sitting there thinking, when Aegon was looking at that dagger, that was his father's, when he was looking at that dagger, I was sitting there thinking, he's going to get in this fucking hall and he's just going to cut his throat in front of everybody. I thought he was going to kill himself because he didn't want to rule that much.
So the way that I read that scene, specifically the one in the cart with Alicent and him like heading to the Dragon's Keep, because he was very much, there's no way that my father said what he said in his dying breath. There's no way. which he didn't believe until the dagger was pulled out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always seen Aegon as kind of a Joffrey, not as bad. Like I'm talking about Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
That's the thing. That's where I think he's going to be heading towards. I think Otto's going to try to keep him in line, and I think Aegon is going to be like, "No, I'm doing this way." If he survives, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because
I think there's going to be a bloodbath.
We didn't have any Rhaenyra or Daemon in this episode, and I was upset by that.
Well, it makes sense because I think they're going to be the focus of this next episode. They're going to learn about what happened and be fucking pissed. Like, we're going to be going into a war here in a minute.
Well, episode 10 is titled The Black Queen.
I didn't know that.
And here's the thing. Alicent and everybody that sides with her, the Hightowers, they all are on the green. That's the house colors. That's the colors they are.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Council. Well, here's the thing. Targaryen colors are black.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I think
it's bad.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is the first time that I watch this show at like 10 o'clock Sunday night. I usually wait until Monday mornings to watch it, but I watched it at 10 o'clock Sunday night.
I have to work Sunday because I go work Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and I'm gonna get home Sunday after work and be like, Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, House of the Dragon, Dad. Now we got to know how this fucking plays out because I'm fucking excited. Like I want to know how this ends. And that's what I was trying to explain to a friend, actually, our friend Mark. I was trying to explain because he was like, it's hard for me to watch it because of the sour taste in my mouth from Game of Thrones, yada yada yada. And I was like, I get that. I totally understand that because it was rushed. It didn't feel good. It felt very unsatisfying. Divorce yourself from Game of Thrones. Like genuinely divorce yourself. Go like in your own mind, say, look at this show as if Game of Thrones didn't exist. Because honestly, everything that happened in Game of Thrones does not matter to House of the Dragon at all.
Nope. Not really.
Because it's so far into the past that it does, like, we know what happened right before season 1 of Game of Thrones. The Mad King existed. The Robert Baratheon killed him. We all know that's no, it wasn't Robert.
Well,
it was
Jaime Lannister.
Jaime, yeah. Well, again, killed him. We learned that that's not entirely the truth.
True.
And then Game of Thrones starts. So everything that like House of the Dragon is doing doesn't matter in terms of Game of Thrones. We just know it's the same world, and that's all that matters. Like this show isn't a prequel as much as it just takes place before.
Yeah.
Because to me, a prequel is like characters that we know and how they got to the position that they were in when we see them the first time. That's not the case with this show. So, and what makes that so much fun is that nothing leading up to what we've seen in this show has had any effect on anything that we already know. So it makes it original. It makes it something new. And it's fun for that. So that's what I'll say on that. I want people to watch it. I want people to enjoy it without having that taste in their mouth. Like this is like going to a pizza place and you have one pizza and it kind of tastes like shit and you're like, this is bad. And then someone goes, oh no, you got the wrong type of pizza. Go back and get this pizza. And you're like, you're apprehensive, but you go back and you get the pizza that they suggest. And you're like, oh, this one's really good. Like, why didn't I have this the first time? That's my analogy, and I'm sticking to it. Well, why don't we go ahead and give a grade to this episode? I think
I went first last time, so
A+. It's a fucking A+. Like, granted, the entire episode is all politics. There's barely any kind of action, but that's Game of Thrones in a nutshell. Like, you're gonna get your action. It just takes a while to get there. It has to build up to it. It has to have reason behind it. And we get to see so much political drama in this episode that I had a blast watching it. Like I was always like, what's going to happen next? What this character's going to do? And when things started to kind of go awry in a certain part, like when you get me to have that anxiety in my stomach, well fucking done. So I'm stoked for the finale next week. And yeah, well done. What about you?
Oh, it's also an A+. Is fucking stellar. I really love the pacing. I can't stand the High Towers. They're allies. They're trash. Can't stand them. Sir Kristen. Oh, wow. Oof. Can't stand that dude. Can't stand that dude. I wanted to see Sir Harold just eviscerate him right there. But, saving it. I'm pretty sure Sir Harold's gone off to Dragonstone. Uh, Rhaenys probably went to Dragonstone to warn Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Oh yeah, 100% that's where she went.
But yeah, I can't wait for the fucking finale. This was a lot of fun. That closing scene in the dragon pit when she just burst up through the fucking floor on her dragon and she's got her armor on. That was fucking awesome.
You know
And that
what's
thing
funny
just
is
roaring in Aegon's face. And Sir Kristen was like, Alicent tells Sir Kristen to get in front of her daughter Helena, like, I'm sorry, that fucking dragon's gonna torch all of you.
I thought she was going to say Dracarys and it was going to happen. I really
Yeah,
did.
I was hoping, but then we wouldn't have anything for next episode.
Not necessarily. I mean, I get where you're coming from with that, but not necessarily like because here's the thing. Oh no, Dragon's Breath can kill. It's regular fire that can't hurt them. That's right. Never mind. Because Dragon's Breath is worse. They've already established that in the lore of Game of Thrones that Dragon's Breath is way more strong, like way more powerful, way more potent than just regular fire.
Oh yeah,
And it's regular fire that can't hurt a Targaryen. So that's what it was. I mean, Alicent would have been fucking gone either way. She would have been toast. But I was thinking that even if she said Dracarys, like the Targaryens would still be up there standing. Like, well, okay, we're naked now, but okay. So, but no, they die. They would get boined.
But yeah, it was fucking good, really good.
Some excellent fucking TV. But like I said, you really have to divorce yourself from Game of Thrones, like, because nothing in that show matters to what happens in this show, and vice versa. It really, really doesn't matter. It's just a different thing entirely. So, anyway, well, that's that. Why don't we go ahead and move on to Andor?
All right, Andor episode 7. This was titled Announcement. The write-up, give me just a second. Okay. I hate it when they put last names in this. On Coruscant, Cyril Karn starts a new job at the Imperial Standards Bureau. As the ISB gains more draconian surveillance and punitive authority, Miro, which is the blonde lady, her Daedra Miro, she she is challenged by Blevin for breaking protocol and accessing data about thefts from Imperial installations. She persuades her superiors of her work's value and is assigned oversight of Ferrex. Stellan Skarsgård's character, fucking assholes, why they do this. Luthen Rail, Luthen's assistant meets with Vale on Coruscant and instructs her to find and kill Cassian to prevent him from revealing Luthen's identity. Mon Mothma meets with an old friend at a dinner party and begins the process of using him to access her family funds. Cassian returns home to Ferrex to settle old debts and learns from Bix that the community blames him for the fallout from the corporate security crackdown. Cassian unsuccessfully attempts to get Marva to leave Ferrex with him. Cassian travels to the tropical tourist paradise of Niamos. On a trip to a shop, he is confronted by Imperial troops, arrested for minor offenses, and sentenced to 6 years imprisonment. So, yeah. A lot of stuff going on, and now Cassian's been caught and thrown in prison for basically no reason whatsoever, just because he was looking around on his way to the fucking way to the fucking market.
So I have an okay. So okay, all right. So this episode was a lot of like most movies, most stories within Star Wars have ended at the end of last episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this show has 12 episodes, so we're continuing.
Yeah.
And when Cassian is doing his thing, and it's kind of like, okay, we're just catching up. We're seeing what he wants to do. He's still kind of like not wanting to be part of the rebels, and I get that. But we get a lot more from other characters. Him getting imprisoned for not doing anything was intentionally put there as a way to show a parallel for all the other characters.
Oh yeah.
Because all the other characters are in a prison either of their own making or by the Empire for stifling them.
Yep.
And I'm just like, it's so good. It's so good. But the other thing I want to point out is that I think we're having a time jump next episode. I think we're going to when Cassian gets out of prison. And like a lot of the characters are going to be a little bit further in their lives. That's what I think is going to happen, which I want so bad.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is only 4 years before Rogue One.
Oh, so you think he might get broken out?
He's going to get broken out quicker. Yeah, because he clearly doesn't serve a 6-year sentence, because the first episode opens up 4 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
So, he's going to get broken out. Will it be by K2SO? I doubt it. It was funny, though, when they showed those Imperial interrogation droids, or whatever they are, the K units. When that one showed up on screen, Misty's like, "Oh, is it?" And I was like, "No, it's not."
I mean, I hope that we do meet K2SO when in this show, because I'd love to hear fucking Alan Tudyk come back and reprise that role. But who knows? Who knows what we're getting in this show? It's the thing about this show that I love is that it's not beholden to anything. It kind of does its own thing, and it continues to do its own thing. Because this episode had zero action. Last episode we got a ton of action. This episode was more political intrigue, and it was more, personal whereabouts and what other characters are going through and thinking. Like, one of my favorite characters to watch. He's not a favorite character in general, but I love like seeing where his story goes, and I can't think of his name, but it's the guy that like his life fell apart after episode 3.
Cyril Karn.
Cyril, yeah. Cyril, watching Cyril go through what he has to go through is fucking rad. Just from a storytelling perspective. So I'm fucking all in on his character and what he's going to be doing. But or the girl that works for the ISB.
Yeah.
She got a one up on that motherfucker.
Yeah, Deidre Miro. Yeah.
I do hope we have a little bit of a time jump in this episode. I hope that we have a little bit of like hey, so the past like maybe 2 years, this is what's been going on, and now they break him out of jail.
I don't know. I don't think it should be that long, because he's when we meet him in Rogue One. When we meet him in Rogue One, he is firmly entrenched and totally believes in the rebellion. Right now we're not seeing him do that. We need to see him get to that point. And I don't know if this series is only going to be a one and done, or if they're going to try to do another season. But
I mean, it'll have to be one and done if it catches up to Rogue One. Because if it's 4 years before the Battle of, that's at the end of episode 1. So
Yeah, basically, it's just a few days before Rogue One happens, or a few days after Rogue One happens.
Right. So we have 4 years to play with here.
Exactly.
So it's all going to depend on like how quickly they're going to break out Cassian.
And who's going to break him out?
Oh, it'll be the rebels for sure. Because I think what's going to happen is man, I cannot remember fucking names of this goddamn show. Fucking Stellan Skarsgård's character,
Luthen.
It's going to depend on like how quickly Luthen hears about his imprisonment. Because I think Luthen is going to be the one to break him out.
Yeah,
it's going to have to be. I mean, I can't think of any other character that would learn about it and risk their fucking life doing it.
Yeah. Whatever the reason being, he's wanting to cover his ass, but at the same time, he'll also see what a valuable asset he was, that he wouldn't have that 80 million in credits had it not been for him.
I love that we're also getting more characterization with Mon Mothma, because she's
Mhm.
always kind of been a background character that's funding the rebels.
Well, yeah, we were always given the impression she was the leader of the rebellion. And now it's just like, okay, you see how she's on the fringe and she's funding the beginning of the rebellion, but she's not actively leading the rebellion. I want to see how we get her to that point.
But and I can't stress this enough. Like, the new characters are what I'm most intrigued with. Like, yeah, we get Mon Mothma and Cassian and see how they get to the point they get to. But
Yeah, I
and that's
like Luthen a lot.
Yeah, I want to know more about him. I want to know more about the certain characters that we had in the last. Like, are we going to revisit them? Specifically, the woman that was in charge of that group. I can't remember her name either, but I want to know more about her. The I want to know more about the ISB, since that's brand spanking new to us. Like, it's fucking, dude, what a great idea. What a great fucking idea. Oh, this show is well done. Super well done. If you're not watching it and you say you're a Star Wars fan, I question that entirely. Because this show is fucking phenomenal. So I'm just going to throw it out there, A+ for Andor, episode 9, episode 7.
Yeah.
Everything about it.
Yeah, I agree. Another week of stellar offerings and the things that we are covering. Nothing let us down at any point. Andor, the only thing is, it's like, well, the show's called Andor. We didn't get a lot of Andor in this episode. We didn't have to, though, because the other characters and the things that they are doing are so well done and so compelling that it's totally okay. Yes, he's the title character, but he doesn't have to be the central focus in every scene. There's some great storytelling going on here, and I love this dark, gritty stuff that we're getting right now.
Yeah. I think that's also something I want to point out about Star Wars as a whole. This isn't just, other franchises. Star Wars has this versatility to be whatever the fuck the person writing that story wants it to be. We can go super dark. We can go super light. Star Wars can go anywhere. And the other thing that makes Star Wars great is whoever's running it, their imagination can go It is a fucking plane. It is a canvas that has just a little bit. Like, it's a whole ass canvas that has like this corner's filled. That's it. Because you go to a fucking resort planet, guess what you have? A bunch of new aliens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Star Wars. Every time you write a new one, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, people go, oh, well, it has a certain hardcore set rules. Who the fuck says? You? Who are you? Like, let's have more content from Star Wars that's just fun. We don't have to stick in the fucking Skywalker saga too. We can branch out. We can do new things, like that show that's coming out, High Republic. I want to know that one. I want to see that one. Just people, come on. Enjoy cool content based on its creativity. Like, I was talking to somebody last night about. I was talking to Mark, and we were talking about because he hasn't watched an episode of Andor, and I said you got to watch it, dude. It's so good. And he goes, he was like, yeah, I should definitely check it out because it's Star Wars and we all like Star Wars. And I said, did you know that Andor is the least watched Star Wars project on Disney Plus?
Doesn't surprise me.
And that's what he was like. No, I didn't know that. And I was like, do you know why? And he goes, I don't know, because the fanboys are making a big deal out of it. And I was like, sort of. So it seems to be that the people who are enjoying it's more enjoyed than not. But the reason that people aren't watching it is it's not legacy characters. It's not these, because that's the thing about The Mandalorian. The only reason people watched it to begin with is because a lot of people thought it was going to be about Boba Fett. But that's also what I love about Mandalorian is it's not about Boba Fett. Sure, Boba Fett's in it, which is fine, but it's about brand new characters that exist in this world and this galaxy, I should say. And it's just, but that's what I love about Andor. We have two characters that we've known. One we barely know, and the other we know from a single film, and we don't know how he got there. So it's just brilliant. I just love it. I love it so much. Well, any final thoughts?
No. I think we've covered everything we want to cover today.
All right then. Well, that's going to do it for this week, folks. We had a heavy episode, a lot of stuff to talk about. Outside of the reviews. So next week we're only going to be talking about the finale of House of Dragon and episode 8 of Andor. I don't think we're adding anything. I know that maybe in the following week we will review Midnight Club. I've watched the first episode with my mom. It's pretty good so far, but we'll see how it fares. But the other thing I wanted to add was that in 1 week from today, as of recording this, Tales from the Jedi come out, and they're like 15-minute animated shorts in regards to stories about Jedi that we've seen, but we don't know theirs. Yeah, and most of it is directed and done by Dave Filoni. So, I'm interested. Apparently, one episode's going to have what's her name? Why I draw a blank on her name?
I don't know why you draw a blank on everybody's names.
It's Anakin's fucking apprentice.
Ahsoka?
Jesus. Maybe it's because I have to pee real bad. But yeah, if we add anything next week, follow us on our social media accounts. That's that all that will be linked down below. If you aren't looking down below, if you're just listening to this on Spotify or something like that, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go over there, follow us there. We will try our best to let you know if we add anything, so that way you can watch it, and then join us when we talk about it. If you have different views on the shows that we talk about, let us know in the comments on any of those social medias. We'll be happy to have a discussion with it, because if you see these things differently and you want to let us know, that's great. We want to hear your opinion. If you don't love how Rings of Power ended, or you just don't love the show at all, let us know. Like, a different opinion's great. And maybe you can point something out in the show that maybe we didn't see or we overlooked because we were so infatuated with something, and you're like, this doesn't make any sense. And maybe we'll be like, oh shit, it doesn't. And and that's what we love about the show, is that discussion. So go there, leave a comment, let us know. Also, that's where you're going to find it if we add anything. But I don't think we will for this next week. Also, check out the Teespring store. If you're looking to up your ante when it comes to gear for the fall and winter season, there's some stuff over there on that store with our cartoon faces or our logo on it, and let people know, hey, what's that on your shirt? Oh, it's this podcast I listen to. So you guys talk about, I'm sorry, guy and gal, talk about, I use guys as a gender neutral. They talk about shows and stuff, and it's a lot of fun, and they're pretty funny. So go check it out. Be a fucking billboard for us, okay? Go buy something for us and be a billboard. God damn it. let's see where my notes going. If you want to watch the live feed of this podcast, you can check that on YouTube. 9 times out of 10, it's just me and Maya's face. So there's that. But if you want to, it's there. Let's see, what else do I got on my notes here? Well, I can't really say because this episode goes up on Friday, but yesterday we did our Jackbox stream of the new Jackbox game, and we'll probably be live next Thursday as well. So that's going to be on my channel, which is twitch.tv/j.r.r. Jackbox Party Pack 9. It'll be fun. I hope it'll be fun. I don't know. Did we have fun? Who knows? We're recording this on Wednesday.
We had a lot of fun. It was a great time.
Well, last week we had a lot of fun for sure. Go between games. So yeah, come check that out. And that's it for my notes. Maya, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Facebook under my name, Maya Don Fisher. It's a public profile. It's also linked to my Instagram and Twitter accounts. I'm becoming more active on both, trying to, especially Twitter here recently. So if you want to follow me on any of those, just go to Facebook, find me, add me, request me, whatever. I enjoy talking and discussing things with new people, making
Just
new
don't
friends.
be a transphobic piece of shit.
Jesus, don't be a transphobic piece of shit because you will be called out. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's your best place to find me and what I'm up to. Greg, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on all socials under j.r.r. I don't post a whole lot, but I do post funny video game content over on my Twitter account. So there's that. I recently uploaded one where I was playing Overwatch 2 and absolutely decimated. I got a 5-kill streak on one, like a whole team kill with just Symmetra.
Jesus.
Have you seen that video yet?
No, I didn't get to watch it this morning. I saw you post it, but I didn't get to watch it yet.
Oh, you gotta watch it. I snuck in behind them and just melted them. It was super satisfying. But yeah, so that's where you'll find me. Yeah, that's it. I'm looking at my notes and that's all I got. So yeah, remember finale of House of the Dragon, episode 8 of Andor, and thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you. Always remember, fuck the GOP, fuck the NRA. Donate and help where you can. We'll see you next week.
Take care, everybody.